do, I don't know, about 25 to 30,000 in sales a month. And the margin on that with our operations and our chemicals and like the speed and our process and procedure, got that to about a 45% margin.
All right, Mike, so what got you into detailing?
Got me into detailing. So obviously, I've been working, my life and wanted to kind of get into something that was, starting a business, working on my own, doing my own thing. And I'm a car guy. I like cars. I always took care of my vehicles. I always took care of my car. So I washed it regularly. I always detailed it and just really like to make sure that it shined and, the wheels were shiny and it was taken care of. Because, you take care of things that you invest in. And for me, a car was an investment. I enjoyed, fast cars and tuning them up and doing different things. So I was always into cars. So I thought, heck, why not do something that, isn't like rocket science, but something I passively enjoy and love detailing. So, you definitely want and should be doing things that you enjoy, because then here we are, I'm enjoying the morning. I'm enjoying, heading to the job. I'm excited about taking a vehicle and creating a great customer experience, but also doing something that I enjoy. And why not? What better way than to get paid for like a hobby, I guess you could say. So that was really the reason why I started detailing. But I ventured out from the job, from the 9 to 5, because I wanted to, work on my own thing and be my own boss and make my own hours. And reflecting back, it was such a grind. It was so hard. It was, working super hard and not making a lot of money in the beginning, and then learning the business and learning to deal with customers and learning to deal with just like all these other different workflows, not just detailing specifically. So like the detailing part was something I enjoyed. So what made me choose detailing? I liked it. And then I wanted to be my own boss, so I wanted my own business and stuff like that. So detailing it came. So I don't know if I had to think too long and hard about like what it was going to be, but I did some research. I was looking at businesses and different things to start and different things to do, and I don't know, somehow I ran across detailing or mobile detailing, and I was like, you know what, that seemed like something that I could do. So I think it was just kind of a stroke of luck that I ran across something, and then I was like, oh, that would be a great fit for me. So then I ended up selecting that because it was something of interest to me. So then I bought a .com. I went to GoDaddy, not sponsored by this video at all, but I went to GoDaddy, bought a .com. I ended up buying something that's local for my area that had to do with West Texas, and hired somebody to build a website for me, and I got the website up and running, and got my Google listing, which is hugely important, got my Yelp listing, so I got my directory listing so that people could actually find me. And then I would probably say like within a month, before I even had all my equipment and everything else, which we'll kind of go over today, because I want to share like how to, what the setup that we have and how you can get started with the setup and what's needed. I started getting calls, and I was like, what the heck, so like I started getting calls before the business was actually even ready to run. So we decided to go ahead and make the plunge. So we bought some equipment. We bought a vacuum from Home Depot. We found a van on Craigslist for $1,700 that we bargained down to $1,500. We, got, power washer and a few things. And before you know it, we were out there grinding it from like 9 in the morning to like 7, 8 o'clock at night, even in the dark, just hustling to keep up with the customers. And we realized, dude, this is legit. And we were excited, we were super pumped, and here we are years later, and we've got several vans, we've got a fleet, we've got customers, we've got maintenance customers, we have detailers, and everything's running so smoothly. And I do a lot of work in the office, but I do like to work on the weekends. It's therapeutic for me. I like to get in the field. I like to do product testing. So now I test products. I order products from different vendors and different companies. I like to find the best detail brushes, the right chemicals, the right equipment. So that's actually what we're doing today, is testing a few new products and a few things that I have, so that way I can deploy those in the field, and it makes us more efficient. and it makes us get the job done to make us profitable.
All right, Mike, so what is it like running a detailing business?
Whew, man, running a detailing business, well, I'd probably say it's not different than any other business. You've got expenses, you've got customers, you've got accounting, you've got marketing, you've got advertising, you've got operations, you've got, all this stuff that's in between. And when I first started it, it's not like I went to college for a business degree and said I want to start a detailing business. So I learned a lot of things along the way, and it's super busy. Because anything that has to do with running your own business, it may sound super easy, like being your own boss, but there's so much that has to be done. You've got to worry about making sure you have business. You've got to worry about making sure you're keeping the business happy, the customers happy. There's, accounting that has to be done. There's taxes. There is advertising. So there's a lot of other things besides the detail brush on the car, like the wrench on, the wrench to the car, like a mechanic. There's so much that's happening, and I didn't realize that in the beginning. So I found myself not necessarily overworked, but working a lot before I got into the groove of things running themselves. So now I have detailing software that helps me with my booking and my scheduling and my website, and all that syncs together. And then I have my accounting and my accountant that I work with. And then I have my marketing and advertising that's on autopilot that we make adjustments to, each month after looking at, conversion rates and click-through rates. So I have a schedule for everything, and everything, I don't want to say it's on autopilot, but in the beginning it was not, because I didn't know what those things were. So once I identified those things, then I refined them and either put them on a schedule or put them on autopilot. So what it's like running a detail business is just like any other business. You've got all of these operational things that are happening, and you need to identify what those things are, which we can, outline in the description below. But you'll put them, you'll get familiar with them. You'll become a semi-expert in those things, because you need to be knowledgeable of the things that what your business is doing, so you can support it and run it if needed, or train somebody that you need to train to run it, and get those in a flow that works with your schedule. So for me on the daily, I spend most of my time on business growth and making sure that the marketing and advertising is performing as it needs to, because that fuels the website for bookings and fuels our call volume for the call associate to take those bookings over the phone. And then that funnels into the scheduling and the bookings, so that the team knows where to go and has work and everything else. Because not only am I running a business supporting myself, I'm running a business and supporting my team, because my team is just as much as a priority as my customers, because they also have bills, they have families and things like that. So it's not like I can just get lazy on myself and impact me. I mean, I got to be motivated and growing with the business to be able to support my entire team. One, I'm not doing everything, because the team and I work together to make all of these moving parts in this well-oiled machine function, but rather we collectively work together to achieve all this. So I may have different roles, everyone has a different role, but all those roles work together to run the business. So it's busy, but once you find your mojo and your workflow and the operational items and things that you need in order to run the business for growth or for scale or for just running on autopilot, that was hard in the beginning, but now it's so smooth, it's so easy. So the biggest issues I deal with are, either customers rescheduling, the rain, the weather, the maybe a customer issue that needs to be addressed, the normal things that a business would have to deal with.
All right, Mike, one thing I want to know is, how do you get your customers?
Ooh, super important. So without customers, you've got no business, you've got no cash flow, you've got no money in your pocket. So that's probably one of the biggest challenges that we faced in the beginning, but it was solved by having a website, having a digital presence with Google and the directory listings and so forth. That was the biggest thing, that once we got that in place, everything started to fall in place. Those, as I mentioned earlier, the calls started coming through, the bookings started coming through, even before we even had business actually officially started. It was having that digital presence. Now, You could do door knocking, you could do flyers. There's so many ways to put your boots on the ground to get customers. But for us, our approach was taking a digital approach and really having a footprint that when someone searched for mobile detailing or mobile car wash, like we came on the first page of the listing, or whatever outlet or medium they were using. Like I wanted to make sure that we had that digital presence, whether it was the social media or Google or Yahoo or whatever the case. And that helped us out a lot. That's where all of our business primarily comes from.
All right, Mike. So how much can someone make detailing cars?
Ooh, getting in my pocketbook. So that's a good question, but it's an important question. So obviously it depends on the price point and your volume of customers, like how many details you're doing. So when we first started, oh my goodness, I was detailing cars for like $50, $50 a detail, and we were shampooing, we were doing all kinds of stuff. I didn't really do any market research to see what my customers were paying or what my competitors were paying. And I don't want to say competitors because we're all in this community together, but what the other detailers in the community were charging customers. So when I started, like I went in like blindly and thinking like, oh, I could knock this car out in an hour and make $60 an hour. But obviously I had expenses and all these other things that I wasn't really like mathematically putting together, learning along the way. So in the beginning, I don't want to say I was not profitable, but I was like working to learn the business, working to figure everything out. So it was not making a lot of money in the beginning, but now with multiple vans, crews and marketing, everything that's going, we do, I don't know, about 25 to 30,000 in sales a month. And the margin on that with our operations and our chemicals and like the speed and our process and procedure, got that to about a 45% margin. That's paying everybody, that's paying equipment and overhead and accounting fees and taxes. So we're about 40%. So if you do the math on, I don't know, 30%, or just do it on 10,000 to keep it simple, you're looking at about $4,000. And then you multiply that by 2 because we have anywhere from, typically around 25 to 30, gives you an idea of the profitability that we're able to pull from this. But we're doing about $1,000 a day on average.